Fight fans, I'm about to Carl Cruz MMA today. Got a very special guest for us. My guest getting ready, fighting this weekend. He's taking on Nick Gelanti, big CFFC 152 headlining contest. He is the ace. He is Mr. Austin Clayton. Austin, what's up, my friend?
My man, doing good, doing good. Thank you for having me on, bro.
Absolutely, man. So here we are, fight week. You starting to feel it? Starting to feel that energy?
Oh man, I've been feeling it for the last, 10, 11, 12 weeks. I'm so excited to get in there. The work is done, and I already know I did everything I absolutely could this camp. I'm healthy, I'm ready to go, and I'm just excited to, show all the work that I put in over these last few weeks.
Absolutely. You train over in Vegas, Extreme Couture, one of the best gyms in the world. Sean Strickland out there, Manel Kopp out there, the Action Man, Chris Curtis, so many great fighters out there. Why did you pick that gym?
Man, so I was, fortunate enough to be able to travel all around the world and try out so many different gyms. And uh, when me and my wife, when she ended up getting pregnant, we decided we wanted to get closer to family. We were all the way out there alone in Florida. I was training at Killcliff, and Extreme Couture was the best fit for me, and it was also close to both of our families. My family's in Arizona, her family's in California, so it was like the perfect distance to we're in reach to them, but I'm also getting, very, very high level training, partners and coaches and everything in between. Fight capital of the world.
Absolutely. So many people are watching martial arts in this day and age now, but very few people understand the life of a professional fighter. When you're battling down the regional scene like this, you're not making Conor McGregor money quite yet. You're waking up early, you're staying up late, you're sacrificing everything. It's hard for a lot of people to be in a relationship. It's hard for people to have kids right now because you're so focused on trying to get to that next step, that big show that very few do. For you, what's made you want to stick with it?
Man, I mean, it's definitely not for the money. I can promise you that because I'm already severely in the red for this fight. I mean, thank God for, the support of my sponsors, first and foremost, my family, incredible support. And then honestly, me and my friend, we have a business and, that's doing well as well. So, I mean, thank God for all these things outside of fighting that support me and my dream. The reason why I stick with it, man, is because when I was a little kid, this is what I wanted to do. And when I'm 75, 80 years old, I want to look back on my life and I don't want to have no regrets about what I could have done. I'd rather regret maybe I shouldn't have done that, but I'm never going to regret, man, I wonder if I, shoulda, woulda, coulda. It's never going to be that. I'm going to go through and see what Austin Clayton can be in the sport of MMA and in everything in life. Doesn't matter how many setbacks, failures, adversity, doesn't matter. I'm going to go, give it my best shot for sure.
For MMA, obviously, you have that wrestling background. What was that transition like into full MMA?
Man, it was a blessing to, come from a top five program at Arizona State, training with one of the pound for pound best and now a world champion, Zahid Valencia, and so many other my teammates back at Arizona State. It gave me the best base for MMA, and that was the whole goal in, competing at a higher level and going Division 1 was I always knew I wanted to fight, and I always knew that, wrestling is the best base for MMA. So, why not take it as far as I could and I learned so much, and I just feel like that's my edge and advantage against a lot of my competitors is they haven't been in those D1 rooms where you're not able to score on somebody for 2-3 months, and you have to battle in your own head. You know what I mean? Why am I here? Why this is so hard? This is challenging. It's everything in between. But I had the opportunity to go into those rooms, train with the high level teammates, and push myself to the absolute limit, and it gives me a mental edge against everybody. You know what I mean? Because a lot of these guys are starting in gyms where they're already better than everybody that they train with. They haven't had to deal with adversity, and the first time that they deal with it is in the fight. I've failed so many times. I've dealt with so much adversity. I've never been the best guy in the room, and that's why I go into all my fights so confident. Is because I'm training with the absolute best. There's nothing that I'm gonna see in the fight that I haven't seen before. So,
For you, do you think that fighting is more mental than it is physical?
absolutely, you got to be in shape for sure. But I mean, even down to the conditioning aspect, I work my tail off. Don't get me wrong, but what I've learned, you see people like Sean, you see people like Marab, it's efficiency. You know what I mean? Efficiency in the fight, being able to stay composed mentally, not panicking. It's a fight. Something bad is bound to happen. Even if you do everything right, something bad is bound to happen. You just got to stay composed and calm in those moments and navigate through the chaos. So I 100% believe it's more of a mental game than it is physical, for sure.
Obviously you have a great wrestling pedigree behind yourself, but we're starting to see in your fights that you're very well rounded. You also know how to get those hands going, especially your ground and pound's absolutely vicious. You feel like at this point in the game, is it just every day try to get a little more well rounded, even out?
Yeah, 1% every day. I don't really see any big glaring holes in my game. For this camp specifically, I've worked a ton with Jason Manley, rounding out my jiu-jitsu game. Because I have I call it smash jiu-jitsu, right? It's a wrestling style of jiu-jitsu. I'm just gonna smash you and put your face in the mat, and beat you up until you give it to me. But I've been working on the real pure art and the sport version of jiu-jitsu, and a lot of stuff off my back, a lot of stuff from back control. I've really rounded out my game, and a lot of that is thanks to Jason Manley. And then I've been working with my boxing coach a ton. He's one of the best in the game. He's worked with Benavides. He's worked with everybody that you can imagine. And I have the blessing to work with him one on one, and just rounding out my skills. When you've been in the game for so long, you're not going to make any major leaps. It's just about getting 1% better every single day, and that's my focus.
With this contest being a 5-round title fight here, did camp change at all? Is it still relatively the same?
It was more intense. I've never had to prepare for 5 rounds, and man, am I ready to go 25 minutes? But I can promise you one thing, man, it's not going to go 25 minutes. It's unfortunate because I put in all the work to go 25 minutes, but there is no way in hell we're going 25 minutes. I'm finishing this fight. There's no doubt about it in my mind, and I worked way too hard to not get out of there early. We don't get paid by the hour, so.
So you're taking on Nick Gelanti, CFFC 152. Great contest here. Overall, what do you think of him as an opponent?
Man, great opponent. I've been calling out him and all his teammates and his friends and everybody from the East Coast, and he's the one to accept it. I'm super grateful for this opportunity. CFFC has given me, and I'm grateful that he accepted this fight. This is exactly the opponent I need. 6-1, 5 finishes. He's a tough outing for anybody. And I'm gonna go in there and I'm gonna make it look easy, and that's gonna give me my call for contender series and to get into the UFC. And yeah, I'm super grateful, man. I think he's a very worthy opponent. I think he's gonna bring the best out of me. I love the challenge. I think out of all the people that I called out, he's the best of the group. So I'm excited to see their faces after this fight, because when I go beat the best guy on the team, I don't think they're gonna want to play social media banter anymore after that. You know what I mean? But I'm so excited, man. He's a good opponent, and he's gonna bring the best out of me for sure.
When you look at your topology, I mean, you really see some of the quality of guys you're fighting. 2 fights ago, fought a guy who's 4-0. Last time out, you fought a guy who had like 7 times the amount of fights that you've had as a professional. Now you're fighting one of the top prospects in the middleweight division. To me, this is what a regional fight is. When you have 2 guys like this, top prospects, for you to try to make it to that next level, to go to big shows, you feel like the competition has to be just elevated.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to remind you, man, those last 2 fights were both taken on one on 10 days notice, and the last one was on 4 days notice. So, I fear no man. I'm ready to go out there and put on my best effort. And like I said, we're just gonna see what Austin Clayton is made of. But as in the competition, yeah, I want to show I'm UFC ready. Every single fight has been a progression. Every single fight has been a better opponent. It's a bigger challenge. And this is no different. I think like I said, you go out there and finish somebody like Nick Gelanti, who's never been finished in his whole career. I think that speaks volumes. You know what I mean? I'm going to be 6-0. It's hard to get signed at a lower record. I mean, after 5-0, you start getting noticed. But even then, I mean, you look at a lot of the guys on Contender Series, man. They got 8, 9, 10, 11 fights. I want to go in there at 6-0, 6 finishes. I'm going to be undeniable. They're going to have to give me the call. And, this is the next step in my career. So
Obviously, the next task at hand here is Nick, but you alluded to something that's going to probably start in August, the Dana White Contender Series. With a win, You will be 6-0. We've seen those records in the Dana White Contender Series many of times. Coming into the fight before, are you thinking in your head, this is going to be the last one on the regional scene?
Man, first and foremost, I am so focused on Nick. Like, I don't want it to be taken the wrong way and make it look like I'm looking past him. No, I'm 100% focused on Nick, but I also know where my future lies. And I mean, what else can you ask from me if I go out and finish this guy? You know what I mean? I have to get the call. It's inevitable. I just feel like, my manager already told me after my last fight or before my last fight, he said, hey, at that time we were talking to Sean Shelby, 1 to 2 more is all we need. I thought I was going to get the call last year. You finished a guy with, 31 professional fights. You finished him in under 30 seconds. I was like, man, I'm getting the call. I didn't get the call, but that's okay. You know what? We're going to stay active. We're going to get back to business, get back to work. And now we got Nick Gelanti. Yeah, I'm going to finish this guy, and I'm no doubt I'm getting that phone call. That's 100% what I'm thinking. I'm training for nothing else other than UFC. I want to be the best. I want to prove I'm the best, and that's the only way you could do it. You know what I mean?
For you, what's the ultimate goal? What do you want to accomplish with all this?
When it comes to the fight game, first and foremost, I just want to, like I said, I just want to achieve the dreams of, little Austin and what I've always dreamed of. I want to go into the UFC. I want to, climb as high as I can. I believe I have all the skills to become a champion. I believe I have all the skills to become top 15. I definitely believe I have all the skills to make it into the UFC. But yeah, I think the goal for anybody is, make as much money as possible, climb the ranks, become champion, and most importantly, get out with my health. I have a daughter now, I have a family, and my goal is to provide for them and take care of them and protect them. And it's great. I want to make as much money as possible. I want to achieve as much as possible. But number one is being there for my daughter and being there for my wife and the future kids to come, because we're about to have some more babies after March 27th. That's for sure, man. I'm 100% for sure on that.
So many people are watching this sport now, and they're a lot of casual fans. I think for the most part, they understand that you guys are trying to get fights, get bigger fights, get the UFC, win belts, all that stuff. But very few people, in my opinion, understand the fight outside the fight. And to me, that's that fight not to have to clock in at 9 o'clock in the morning, clock in at 5. That's that fight to secure financial freedom. That's that fight to live life on your terms, not follow societal norms, create some sort of message, create a platform, and leave some sort of influence on the world. For you, has this been a big part of your journey?
Yeah, man. I mean, I'll tell you right now, dude, if I wanted to go make money, fighting is probably the last thing that I would do, right? And nothing is guaranteed. It's so dangerous. It's so risky. But it's just what I love to do. If I wanted to go make money, I have so many opportunities. I could go work for my dad. I could go, put all my time into my business that I have with my friend right now. We have so many options. But again, like, you can only be an athlete at one point in your life. When I'm 56 years old, doesn't matter how bad. If I want to be a UFC fighter, it's too late. You can't do it. It's impossible. So you know what? I'm 27 years old, and I want to maximize this time of my life. And like I said, I don't want to look back and have regrets. And yeah, my goal is to, obviously make as much money as possible, have the freedom. I'm doing what I love to do. It's a blessing. But man, it's achieving that dream that, young little Austin had, and I really do believe I can make it happen. I wouldn't do it if I didn't think it was real. You know what I mean? If I didn't think I could actually make it happen. But it's only a matter of time now.
There's so many people who watch this, like I mentioned, but very few people understand the highs and the lows that the sport has to offer, man. It's an absolute roller coaster when you're a professional fighter. One thing I love about it is the morals, the values, the discipline that it instills on people. I've had a lot of people in this show tell me when they first got into this, they weren't the people they are today. I've been providing them structure, guidance, turning to the fathers, husbands they are in this day and age. For you, how have you grown and evolved from being in martial arts?
Man, the sport has, I mean, people look at my record and they see I'm undefeated, but man, there's been so many hard days in the gym. There's been so many ups and downs and, unkept promises and fights that fell through. It's been a lot of ups and downs, and it's humbled me a lot, and it's really brought me closer to my faith, which is the biggest blessing out of everything because, uh, in my opinion, without Jesus, you have nothing, right? You can have all the money, all the glory, all the fame. None of that matters if you aren't, good in your heart and you have that relationship with your creator. So, this sport has truly brought me down to my knees, and it's given me an opportunity to reevaluate my life where maybe if I was, you know, in the office every single day, just going through the motions like a robot, maybe I wouldn't have the time to reflect on that. But this sport has taught me so much, and I'm so blessed. And I always say, fighting is life in a nutshell, right? We get to have a speed run at life because life is going to knock you down. You're going to go through highs, you're going to go through lows, good seasons, bad seasons, but you just got to keep on getting up, pick yourself up off the ground and keep on pushing. And that's exactly what I'm doing now in fighting, and that's exactly what I'm going to do in life. So, yeah, fighting has taught me so much. I'm so grateful for this sport.
What do you want your daughter to take away from this journey?
Man, just I want her to see that no matter how hard things are, no matter the success, the failure, the adversity, the ups, the downs, the highs, the lows, to just keep on pushing. Get back up. Anything is possible in life. All you can do is be the best version of you, right? Like I don't know what I'm capable of yet, right? I believe that I can be a champion, but maybe my ceiling is only top 15. Maybe my ceiling is greatest of all time. Who knows? I mean, I'm gonna try for sure, but God already has the cards played out for me. It's just up to me to go out and maximize my potential and see what that could really be. But I just want her to know, man, no matter how hard life gets, just get back up, work hard, put your head down. Don't worry about what everybody else is doing. Worry about yourself. Work hard and provide value for other people around you, because life is short. We're here today, gone tomorrow, and if all you're doing is for yourself, it's not going to be a fulfilling life. So.
You haven't completed your end goal quite yet, but at the same time, you've already gone farther than what a lot of people will do when they enter this sport. You're about to headline the promotion with so many great fighters now in the UFC, PFL have done before you. Is this a time where you can kind of reflect a little bit and look at the whole journey so far?
Yeah, I mean, I always like to reflect. One of the things that I started focusing on when I got into MMA was to be more present, in that moment, because this time's going to come and it's going to go. And like I said, one day I'm going to be 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 years old, and I'm going to look back on these moments, and whether they were good or bad, I'm going to reminisce. You know what I mean? I look back at my wrestling career and I have no regrets at all. I'm so happy with everything that's happened, but I'm not going to lie, man. Sometimes I miss those days, and those were at the time, some of the worst days of my life, because I wasn't who I wanted to be. I didn't achieve what I wanted. I wasn't winning certain matches. I didn't understand why, but I look back and I'm so grateful for those moments, because that shaped me into who I am today. So yeah, I'm always constantly reflecting, trying to embrace the moment, be present, and enjoy this time that I'm spending with these teammates and coaches and friends and family, because these are going to be core memories in my life. So.
All right, Austin, last question for you, my friend. In a perfect world, what is the outcome March 27th when you fight for that CFFC middleweight title against Nick Gelanti?
Man, give me the finish. I want to come out unscathed. Like I said, I'm ready for 25. I'm ready for whatever, but I prepared for something different. I prepared for a finish, and I want to call my shot, not just verbally, but through my work on March 27th. I want to show the UFC, not just tell the UFC. I want to show the UFC I'm ready. I'm more than ready to handle anybody that they throw me. Throw me to the wolves, and I'll be ready. There's a lot of guys that they're trying to get rid and out of the contracts in the UFC. And I'm that guy. If you want to go slaughter those big contract guys, I'm the guy. And I want fed as well. I want my paycheck. I want my contracts. I want to make a big statement, man. And it's bound to happen. It's inevitable. Soon. My time is now.
Absolutely. Well, Austin, man, thank you so much for taking time out of fight week. Really excited for this contest. I think you guys are going to go out there and put on a show.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you having me on, and hopefully we can run it back after this next camp, when we're heading into the UFC.
Absolutely. Well, that's it for us today. I'm Carl Prusa. He is the ace. He is Mr. Austin Clayton. He's taking out Nick Gelanti March 27th, this Friday. CFFC 152 main event. Don't want to miss this one fight, fans. It's going to be awesome.